Warning, warning, this game has some very, very bad syncing due to stupid internet and hardware failures. No, we're not going to redo a long as hell PVT, but try to enjoy anyway. Hey guys, Ranch here, bring on Suck Off Commentary. I have Deja alongside me today to bring you second set of BeSt versus Flash in the quarterfinals of the Nate MSL 2009. This is going to be on match point. We're going to have BeSt at the lower left-hand corner as the beige protoss. That means the upper right-hand corner we're going to have Flash, of course, as a Terran player, playing in what I believe is orange, although I could be wrong. And oh my god, BeSt is going to start this up in style today. He's going to be sending out early probe. That is indeed orange. But BeSt's going to be sending out an early probe scout. He's going to try to start it up with some cheese. And we're going to see how well prepared Flash is for this. If he's going to go for 14cc, which he was famous for back in the day. I don't think that's going to happen here, though. But he might still fall prey to this if he doesn't scout it properly. Just going to have to come down to seeing how BeSt places this. He might place this at the natural expansion at 3 o'clock behind the mineral lines. It's how Bogus knocked BeSt out of the tournament. He might do something completely different. I'm wondering if this might even not be a cheese. It might just be getting out there to get the gas. No, okay, this is going to be something funky. Staying at the natural for now. Actually going to apparently possibly go to the left side of the map, try not to get scattered. No, he's going actually straight for the main. Thought that was going to be some sort of cheese. But he's actually just going to go for the early gas steal. Very, very early gas steal. Wanted to make sure that he could get the gas, completely throw Flash's build off, so this is at least a good start for him. Going to take Flash a while. Flash is going to have to play not up to his usual standard builds, and if you throw Flash's builds off, that at least gives you a better chance against him, in my opinion, because he is the type that likes to follow his build. And if you allow him to follow his build, to just do what he wants to do, he tends to just macro up, and if you allow him to play comfortably, which he would manage to do, he's going to be able to basically get into that game sense, get himself going, and then eventually get the opportunity to crush you. So what do you think this move is going to do for BeSt here, Deja? Do you think it's going to give him a good chance against Flash?
I think it's a good move going for that early gas deal. However, one thing I will say is that I wish he would have rather, instead of done this with his 5th prod, I wish he would have done this on his 6th or his 7th. I saw Stork do this against, I forget who he's playing against, but he did this against someone else where he sent out, I believe it was his 6th probe, and it gets the gas steal very effectively. And you should still be able to beat the Terran player if you do that. And you know, with the probes, everything is exponential. If you lose your 4th probe, it delays your 5th probe and your 6th probe even more. So if he had waited just that extra probe or so, it would have helped him out at least a little bit. But I think it is definitely a good move. Like you said, if Flash gets to do what he wants to do, you've got pretty much. You've just got to hope that you've come out with something you can out-micro him or something, because you are just so far behind. And it looks like Flash is going to go 1 rack straight into CC, so this is pretty ballsy of him going for this, but without any sort of gas, just going to build up a medic marine force to defend, maybe even throw up a bunker. I think he's going to have to throw up a bunker in order to stop a Dragoon rush, and we'll see how BeSt responds, because he can throw up a Nexus of his own and try and go for an economic game, or he could maybe even go for like a 2-gate power goon and just try and win it early. He's got a lot of options open because he went for that very early gas deal in that scout off, and it looks like he's just going to play the economic game. So I think we're going to be in for a really fun match here, because we've got 2 players who are obviously extremely good at this matchup, and one of the underlying storylines I think in this game that other than the first set, which Flash won, but until that first set, BeSt had a 3-0 record against Flash, and he played very, very well against Flash. I saw a couple of games where he just played with fantastic Arbiter play, so I'm expecting him to try and go into macro style, try and pull out some of his great BeSt Arbiters, because that's really where he shines, and he's done this before to beat Flash using some quality Arbiter play, so I think that's the kind of style that we're going to see from BeSt, and I think that's where he excels at more than anything else.
It's going to be interesting to find what BeSt is going to go for on this map. Flash, meanwhile, is going to be able to get his, going to go for the quick gas on the natural expansion to try to get his factory up. Meanwhile, BeSt has his 7 score going, does a couple of Zealots just milling around. They're not going to be able to really do any sort of damage, not going to be able to penetrate Flash's natural expansion because he does have the bunker down. Still hasn't taken down the gas at his main, trying to keep a sort of a semblance of a build order for himself here. Going to go out with an SCV scout, but that's not going to be managed to get the scout because of the 2 Zealots blocking. So overall, Flash a little behind in scouting, going to put down his EB, going to block himself up completely while BeSt gets his own natural expansion going. And it's actually quite interesting to see Flash not even attacking the assimilator yet, playing defensively. You know, he knows that if he pulls those Marines off, he's going to take him a while to put them back into the bunker. He's just going to wait until he has his factors going. Okay, never mind. He has 2 Marines attacking the assimilator, so that means he has at least a couple at that bunker. Might even have it filled up due to that barracks being very close by. Did get his scout inside as those zealots are moving out. So at the very least, he's going to spot these 2 gateways coming in for BeSt, who is probably going to be putting down his second assimilator fairly soon. I find carriers could actually be very effective on this map as well, but I find the fact that getting your 3rd gas is a little bit more difficult than on some other maps. Than say Ultimatum. There, it's okay. You have to get some shuttles going to get that 3rd gas, but still it's fairly, or you can take a corner, but it's still fairly easier to get the 3rd gas, in my opinion, at least on this map. He is actually going to rush by right the bunker, right through that opening. He's going to try to at least get some SCVs are being pulled offline. 2 Marines there as well, but these Zealots going to go straight for the main here. They're going to try to get at least something accomplished. You're going to get the scout, going to get the full scout on these 2 factories. Oh, they're going to try to go for some ACV kills. I don't think the assimilator has been taken out. Meanwhile, actually, did I just see that right? There were 5 Zealots actually inside. Some of those are heavily damaged. They're going to try to engage the ACVs. ACVs, meanwhile, are being drilled against them. All the Zealots, meanwhile, trying to kill as many ACVs as they can. Not really that many Marines being pulled off the line. Finally, now coming in here. 2 Vultures here as well. And as soon as these get microed by Flash, he's going to be able to clear this up fairly. Yep, there you go. Clears up. So not really that much damage done by BeSt at all, in my opinion. Really just managed to get in. Got a couple of SCE kills. Definitely not something you wanted to sacrifice. What was that? 4, 5 Zealots, maybe?
I think it was only 3 Zealots, actually. It might have looked like more just because they were going back and forth, but I think it was only 3 Zealots, and I think he got maybe 3 or 4 SCVs and 2 Marines. So in terms of, like, the economic damage done, I think it's fairly even, the trade-off, maybe even slightly an advantage for BeSt. But I think more than anything, once again, I like the play by BeSt, because what it did more than anything else is it just throws Flash off just a little bit more. And I think that's what BeSt is trying to do. I think he came into this game with a game plan. This was his strategy. He said, Flash, you can have a build order, you can have an idea of what you want to do, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so you can't do that. At least you can't do it easily, and you're going to have to improvise. And we're going to play this little improvising game and see who has just the better reaction skills, who can react to each other's tech switches, who can react to each other's strategy better. And I think this is the kind of game that BeSt wants to play, because if you get into a mechanics war, if you get into a build order mechanics war with Flash, when he's in top form, as he is in right now, because his ELO rank is at like 2400. I think he's the first StarCraft player to break 2400, something ridiculous like that. This is not a time where you just want to play Flash straight up. So BeSt is totally taking that option away from Flash, and is going to force Flash to play a more fluid game rather than a rigid game, and that kind of plays into BeSt's hand, I think, because he's planned this. This is what he's plotted for. So when we talk about things like initiative, that sort of thing, that definitely comes into BeSt's favor in this game. And we do have the Stargate and the Templar Archives coming up, so this does look like it's going to be 2 base Arbiter play. So could be early recalls, could be just for stasis as well, at least early on. And Flash is actually going to take this opportunity to take his 3rd base. That is a mineral only. Obviously, like you said, you know, the 3rd gas on this map is so hard to go for. Whether you go for the corners or whether you go for the 12 or the 6, either way, it's very far away and it's difficult to hold. It looks like BeSt is going to go for that 3rd nexus as well, and both players are just going to macro up. And the onus is going to be on BeSt to do some damage with his, or do something with his arbiters when they come out, because he is going to be either tied or behind in base count, and Protoss absolutely needs to do some damage with that tech advantage that he's going to have with that arbiter. He might even be able to beat the science vessels and be able to do as much damage as he can with that arbiter early on. So at least that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm hoping for, that he can probably try and do some damage and either get in there on the 3rd, try and delay that 3rd, or do some damage to the army. Either way, he's going to have to do something, because he can't afford to just sit here and go with equal bases and hope to survive in a macro war.
Meanwhile now, BeSt, getting that observer into the base, instantly gets scanned by Flash. Just one of the things I've noticed by Flash, he always seems to spot the shimmer. He's one of those guys that spots the shimmer, whether it's observers, ghosts, cloak units, whatever you want. He just spots the shimmer. It's freaking amazing how he sometimes does that, but he's getting at least a couple of Goliaths out there. He has BeSt, meanwhile, getting those observers is very critical for him. He's going to be able to go out there, he's going to spot Armory, Academy, going to spot the tech. At least if that observer doesn't get picked off, he's going to spot the tech. He's going to know what Flash is going for. Should know that Flash has that mineral only going up as well. Flash, I don't think he's actually going to want to transition to a 3rd gas quite yet. He can stay on those 2 gas a little bit more comfortably for a little bit while longer. He's going to eventually need it once he wants to continue a constant tank pump alongside